Hey, if you want to watch the show, we got that set up for you. Say you want to see our shining faces instead of just listening. You can if you go to alancoxshow.com. With the assistance today of Dilwan Gonzabos. They just beat Yale. That was a big game. Dilwan Gonzabos. There you go. Thank you, Dilwan, for your assistance. Cavs, tonight and tomorrow night, West Coast, late night games here on the Buzzard. 10 o'clock is your start tonight against the Kings in Sacramento. And then they'll head up the coast to play the Trailblazers in Portland tomorrow night, both of them 10 o'clock tips. 9:30 is when your coverage will begin here and on the iHeartRadio app. If you listen to this show on the app, tell me where you are. Patty's in Auburn, Washington, speaking of Gonzaga. Gonzaga's out that way, right? Isn't that Pacific Northwest?
Somewhere like that.
I have no idea where Gonzaga exists.
Bryce listens in Sarasota, Florida. Brian's in Yuma, Arizona. Mark's down in Key West. Ray and Colleen listen in Milford, Delaware. And Austin is a new listener in Valparaiso, Indiana, up there in Valpo country. I was reading a thing in the, it might have been the Washington Post this morning, about a woman who was a lawyer. She made about $75,000. Not a ton of money for a lawyer, but I don't know how far into it she was. But apparently it wasn't thrilling or lucrative enough for her. It's kind of a crowded field right now, too. But she quit her job as an attorney to become a pet psychic. And she makes a lot of money being a pet psychic. And she's not the only one. It was an extended article on this woman about how the notion of pet psychics has been normalized over the last few years. You'll see the word normalized a lot. And there's always this underlying, there's kind of this tacit approval of that word. You'll read about it in conjunction with political violence and things like that, as though normalized means it's a good thing, or normalized means that it's just something that has to be part of life. And that's what they were talking about with pet psychics. This woman charges $550 for a 90-minute session.
I think I'm going to also finally unlock my
your potential
abilities. There's
Open
no
your
reason.
third eye, Bill.
90 minutes of being with dog and be like,
she has,
the dog wants treats.
$550 for a 90-minute session, and she says that she has a thousands people long waiting list. A woman named Nikki Vasquez, who's pretty cute, actually. She's 33. She's in Philly. And she said that she did a year of research. You could do the research in 5 minutes. I don't know what the research consists of when it comes to pet psychics. But she's making a lot of money now. She was a property lawyer. And her research consisted of how to communicate with animals. And she said she started, for people who believe in this kind of thing, Mary's one of those people. I think, right? If you believe in psychics writ large, you'd have to believe in pet psychics.
I don't think I believe in pet psychics.
You don't? You believe that psychics can talk to humans on the other side, not pets?
Dogs don't speak English. Pets don't speak a language.
They have feelings. They exist.
Right, but my point is that you would also have to be a translator.
Right,
so
but
you have to speak dog and human.
Well, no, not every
reading the energy.
Not every medium is contacted by English-speaking ghosts.
Wait a minute. The pets are speaking. I'm confused. I thought she was reading the pet.
She's telling people what their pets are saying.
So what does that have to do with ghosts?
Well, psychics talk to...
psychics and mediums are different.
Okay. What I'm saying is it's on the same spectrum. If you believe one, I don't know why you wouldn't believe the other.
Sure, but what I'm saying is I don't know if I believe it for pets because pets don't speak English. That's a bridge too far for me.
Right, but they're not... I mean, you would be hearing their thoughts in your native language. Doesn't mean that they would be talking English. This woman...
But how can you hear thoughts in a language you don't speak?
Ask the pet psychic.
That's my point.
Because it's not about hearing a language. It's about having a connection, and then you're understanding through that connection.
Well, here's all I'll say, and you might be onto something there, but here's what I'll say. I guess my thought is always for people who believe in this kind of thing, their belief is always rooted in some people have a gift, right? Mediums, psychics, whatever. They go, well, this person has a gift. Except if you quit your job to become a pet psychic, it's not that you were born with a gift. You just go, well, there's a huge group of people over here who are desperate for some kind of information, and I'll just give it to them.
Right.
And boy, did she find them. She made a handful of social media accounts. That's the secret sauce, obviously, with any kind of grift. And she said pretty soon the requests started pouring in.
Dog's message after passing.
But I'll tell you what, imagine talking to someone for 90 minutes about what their pet is saying to them. Because you could, listen, after about
$550, I'd figure something out.
Yeah, but you're going to have to come up with a lot of stuff. I mean, obviously that person, the pet owner, is going to ask you questions, and then you'll make something up. But doing that for 90 minutes, still preferable put a sword down your throat 32 times a day. But she said, I was so miserable in my previous job as a property lawyer. I was working tons of hours, and I was just so unhappy, but scared to change until this came along. To be clear, it didn't come along. She said, I'm not going to be a lawyer anymore. I'm going to become a pet psychic. And part of this article was that obviously she's not alone. There are people all over the country that consider themselves pet psychics. And so an idea that once was on the fringes of reality has now been more accepted. Now, it will also not shock you to know that 98% of her clients are women.
All right. What does that mean?
You tell us.
Yeah, you draw your own conclusions from that.
You're too busy going to the pet psychic and not going to see the Marvels.
That's what it is.
You got to take time out from all that shopping.
Yeah. Why don't you watch the WNBA instead of giving all your money to pet psychics?
Because one of those two things is real.
The WNBA and pet psychics. Yeah, well. You tell that to the fine women of the WNBA. Anyway, so she got on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and all that thing. She was quickly booked up for 4 months. And she started charging $350 for an hour. It's $550 for 90 minutes. Now, she does restrict herself to 2 readings a day, just so she can ensure the best quality. Because, of course. So she's making a lot more money than she was as an attorney. And I would say, let this be a cautionary tale to law firms, right? Now, I don't know if this woman was good at her job. You know, it might not be culling the best and the brightest in the law profession, but as many jokes as people make about lawyers, I still think it's a valuable profession.
I think I'm going to become a plant psychic.
Do it.
I got to study for a year.
But that's a thing, too.
Yeah.
Plant psychic is a thing, too. Plants are living organisms. There are people in the scientific community who believe that they respond to people talking.
They tell you to talk to your plants.
They tell you to talk to your plants.
I do sometimes, like when I'm watering them, I'll be like, that tastes good.
Right.
The only time I talk about plants is when I go, ooh, I did not water this plant for 3 months.
And then he takes a whiz in the pot, hoping to...
Then I just throw it away.
I'm a notorious
stem
plant
the decay, if you will.
If you know me, please stop buying me plants.
Plants are great.
But I don't do plants. I never remember to water them. And I don't look at them and go like, oh, this plant, it's so cute. I just go, I forgot to water that again.
That's a chore.
That's a chore.
Yeah, but also, like, if you have...
I forget about them,
but if you
doesn't matter.
I would think that if you had a plant, it would probably be near the window where you get sun. I know you face north, but I mean, like, you would want to put it somewhere where the sun would come in.
I could stand next to a plant for 25 minutes and not once think about the plant.
Really?
Because I'm not a person that cares about plants. So
we have so many plants in our house.
We have a lot too.
I'm not really
when I first moved in, I got a lot of plants as gifts, and they just slowly died because I was very bad at keeping up with them. And
you had friends that didn't really know you.
See,
well, I thought it was, Grandma got me one, and Grandma got me a lot, actually.
My ex got me
nice
one,
gift.
and I would kill him all the time. He would always complain.
What's the difficulty in remembering to water them?
It's also not about that, though, because each plant needs a different watering schedule. It needs a different amount of light. It needs all kinds of things.
That's if you really want to drill down. But at the minimum, you can water them.
Right, but okay, so we have one of our snake plants died, but we had 2 snake plants which only need watered about once a month. And then we have 3 pothos now that need watered about every 7 days.
But you also know that Brian's going to know all that stuff.
Brian doesn't know any of it.
I thought he was the guy with the green thumb.
He's outside. He takes care of all the outside stuff.
Wait. His green thumb is only outside?
Yeah.
He does like lawn mowing and raking the leaves, and he has a garden, but it's not.
But that's all flowers.
But it's not it's not. It's not a fruit and vegetable flower garden. He planted our perennials, the ones that come up every year.
Yeah.
He planted perennials once, and so that way every year they come back. That's his and he goes into the garden to pick weeds. He's not planting things that need nurturing and tendering and
he's
caring.
Doing lawn maintenance.
Yes, he likes lawn care.
I see. You're the one inside okay.
So what I'm saying is that we have probably, and then there's a couple other random plants that all are on different watering schedules that all need different amounts of light.
Because those pothos plants crawl, don't they?
Yeah, they spread.
Yeah.
They're almost like an ivy. I don't know if they're technically an ivy or not.
I think they are.
But the one plant that I had for years. I had for the whole time I lived in my apartment. It was doing fine. We moved it into Brian's house, and Brian's house the house we're in doesn't have as much natural light. There's just not as many windows as there were in my apartment. My apartment was basically all windows. So we couldn't find a spot for it in a place with enough light, and it ended up dying. So it's not just as easy as remember to water it once a week.
My wife got me, you know what a Guyana chestnut is?
I do not.
I think they call them.
Is it a plant?
They call them money trees or something.
I like those, yeah.
Okay.
Those are really pretty.
She got me one.
They're supposed to be good luck.
Right after we started dating, or not long after we started dating, and it died last year.
Oh, wow.
That thing was alive for 13, 14 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we have, and again, I'm not a big old plant guy, but we have a lot in our house. And they look good. It's not bad being around living things like that.
Yeah. I think it just adds to the house.
But I'm fascinated by the outdoor only thing. So it's not that he has a green thumb. He likes the lawn to look a certain way.
He wants his house to look good.
Gotcha.
That's it. He preferably in Brian's world, it would look like no one lives in our house. Like no one's ever been in it. I'm not even close to kidding.
That's how iHeart wants all these studios to look.
He wants it
like
to
no
be,
one's ever been in them.
They're going to get their wish.
Right.
Yeah. Soon enough.
Yeah, he wants it to look like it's a model house that nobody has ever stepped foot on the lawn or inside of.
He doesn't want things looking lived in.
Not at all.
Really?
No.
Wow.
Not a speck of dust on the floor, not a leaf out of place.
Well, clean is different, but lived in doesn't mean dirty.
No.
Or unkempt.
No.
But he doesn't want no mail on the counter.
Right. If I leave mail on our coffee table for 2 or 3 days, he'll say something.
You don't have slots for mail?
Well, no, we each have mail we each put it in different spots.
Yeah.
And if I leave it on the table for a few days, he'll say a passive-aggressive thing like, oh, you're going to clean up your mail? Or you're just going to leave it there?
Oh, I see.
I just like to leave mine in the mailbox until I think
that's not even passive-aggressively. That's aggressively.
But that's what I'm saying.
Are you going to leave your mail there? There's something passive about that.
Yeah. Well, he'll say it in passing. Maybe it's we'll just be walking by oh, you're just going to let that mail pile up?
He'll say it aggressively while passing.
Right.
Yes.
He's passing
while
aggressive.
passing by me, he'll be aggressive about it.
And Poundcake kills plants, too.
My ex used to get me plants all the time. He would show up to my house when we would come over, and he's like, "Oh, here you go," and I set it on the table, and I kid you not.
Every time he came over? Sounds like he had a friend out with a greenhouse just trying to unload crap.
He used to love flowers, and they would look really pretty, they were cute plants. And so I would set them on the kitchen table, and I would water them that day, or for the duration of the time that he was over there. And then soon as he would leave, I would forget. Well, he would come over a day or two later. It would just it looked like it would frown, because I forgot to water it. It'd be a little brown and welted. He's like, "Did you feed these things?" I'm like,
"Brown what?
Welted?
How do you spell that?
Welted?
Yeah.
WELTED?
Huh.
Is that not a thing?
Not for plants. You mean wilted.
Wilted. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not welt. It's wilted?
No, a welt would be like a mark left after you'd been whipped.
Okay. Well, I wasn't
bitten or something.
I wasn't
a welt.
those plants.
You weren't whipping those plants into shape?
Yeah, no, it was wilted. Sorry, it was wilted.
Wilted.
Lazy ass plants.
and then
he's whipping the plants.
And then I remember one time he went away on business and he came back and it was dead. He was like, just throw it away. I was like, well, I just wanted to show you that I really appreciate it. He's like, well, if you appreciate it, you would have offered it.
Yeah, like how many is he going to bring you and how many before you're killing all of them?
Just a skeleton of a flower.
When's he going to get the message?
But
that was a metaphor for your relationship. When was he going to figure that out?
It looked really nice at dinner. I'm like, oh, it's like, I'm a real person and we're a real couple. Like, you just have like a flower amongst all the food. It just looked real cute. But I just couldn't keep it alive.
Wow. Well, yeah, it's not for everyone. But it's definitely a good look. Aesthetically, it's a good look.
I don't think I would be a big flower guy. I think I would like a tree. Maybe like a fake tree, like one of those with the big
In your
leaves.
house?
See, that's what I need is just fake plants.
Somebody texted me. My dad.
Same thing.
Somebody texted me. My dad has houseplants that have been alive for 50 years. I think that's literally impossible. So I think those are probably fake plants,
They have to be.
unless you're talking like a tree. But I've never heard of a plant that would be alive for 50 years in your house.
I'd be down to have a tree, but don't trees bring bugs?
No.
Yes.
Well,
they do.
some plants, yeah. Some plants can have.
We have
you
a
can
rubber
get,
tree.
You can get fruit flies. I mean, depending on what kind of plants you've got, you can. Because if you're taking them out and like repotting them, resoiling them, then bringing them back in, there's all kinds of little things in the soil.
But you're not resoiling them from the ground. You're buying potting mix from the store.
Yeah, but that still has stuff in it. You're not going to find bugs, but you're going to find it's still earth. So you're going to find things in potting mix occasionally. And if that's, I don't know. That's why a lot of people will give cacti, right? You give a cactus because you're not going to kill that thing.
Yeah, I have one.
I mean, technically, they do need water.
Oh, I've killed cacti.
Yeah, I was going to say, like even in the
If
desert.
you give me a plant, I can kill it.
Rain in the desert, but they need far
neglect
less
anything.
water. All right, well, listen, your mission, should you choose to accept it, Alan Cox Show customer, is give Bill a plant and see if he can kill it.
Listen,
That's
just
not-
don't
You give
do
him a
that
plant and he'll
because
kill it.
I won't even accept it at this point. I don't want it because then I just end up with all these pots of plants I've killed, and they just remind me of all my neglect and sorrow.
Oh, wow, a constant visual reminder.
Yeah, right. You just gotta when you got a bunch of empty pots. That's not means you're
With
not a good
old,
gardener.
crusty dirt.
No, I mean I dump it all out.
Yeah. Alan, I'm a plant psychic, and I'm offering my services to Mary for free, but sadly, I'm only an indoor plant psychic.
No, I don't believe in that.
Right.
Just believes in
If
regular
you're a
people
human
psychics.
psychic, that's different.
If Poundcake can't whip it, he ain't watering it.
For real though.
There you go. Yeah.
But
Well, that's his approach to kids. If you can't whip them, you can't watch them. Same thing with the plants.
I don't know if it's proper, but I do like a leafy tree in the kitchen. I don't think I want anything like I see stuff on TikTok or on like Twitter all the time where it's like, look at this, look at the ambiance of this room, and it's like a bunch of trees and they got water sounds in the background, and it's like overlooking. They have a nice view outside. I'm like, I'm not creative enough to have like a big leafy room, and it would just smell weird. So something in the kitchen, I think, would be fine.
I just create my own
Smell?
aesthetic with different articles of clothing and things like that just left around my house. It just clutter are my plants.
It creates a scent. I mean, he forgets to
there's-
water those too.
There's no stinky clothes around. It's just, and it's not even mostly clothes. Mostly just things that I accumulate and then just leave until a lot of shoes.
My
Mostly shoes.
My socks, I feel
New
like I have to
shoes.
just burn and throw out. Like I don't even.
Or you could launder them.
I don't even want them in the hamper, but between the
With the
socks
other
that I have to
stuff?
Yeah, I don't want it to be in the hamper with the other clothes because it's just gonna.
Gotta get a sock hamper.
I do. I think I need a separate hamper. Or just like I'll just buy new socks. Socks
Why do
aren't
your feet
expensive
stink so bad?
because they stink. I don't know why.
It's
Blake's
a
got
hormonal
stinky
issue.
feet, man.
Yeah, it's a hormone thing.
Blake is 7 and her feet smell like a grown man went to the gym. It's so gross.
Right.
And, like I don't know. I can't explain it, but like, yeah, I don't want them in the hamper. Even in between the times I'm doing laundry, don't let me do a wedding and be on my feet for 10+ hours because bitch, I'm like I don't even want to take these off because I know they stink while
Green
they're on,
smoke when you
they're
pull
even
your
worse.
pull
They're
your
even
shoes off.
steaming. Yeah.
Wow.
So I don't know what I'm gonna do about that. I don't want no, like, I would be embarrassed to be in bed with a man and just have my feet rub up against his. He's like, what is this?
Yeah, that's no good. You got to get yourself some lava soap and some steel wool and wash them.
My mom said powder. I'm like, powder's not enough. Like, powder just makes it so your feet don't sweat, right?
Yeah, but if they don't
Yeah,
sweat, then
that's where the
going to
stink
be
comes
less
from.
stinky.
Yeah. I mean, it would be worth trying, wouldn't it?
I'll try it.
Rather than just going, my feet smell like corpses. What can I do about it?
I just burn the socks, burn the evidence. But like, as a kid, I would walk into my mom's room and it would just be covered in powder everywhere. Like, I'm like, every time you text them, I'm like, is this dust or is this powder?
Baby powder?
Mhm.
Where she puts it everywhere?
I don't know. I don't know where she was putting it. I don't want to know. But there was just
God.
She's a thin woman. It's not like she might be chafing, I guess. But
I don't know. But like,
He doesn't want to know. He thought it was cocaine until he was 10.
But she
sniffing it.
the powder smelled really good, but it was just like every time you would, like, if I would steal something out of my mom's room, I'm like, because there's like dust everywhere. It's powder everywhere.
Yeah, usually the opposite for black ladies. Usually they're just lotion and everything to keep from getting ashy. And your mom's.
My mom smells
No,
great. Like her.
I'm sure she smells great.
Her, like, that's
I mean,
one
I
thing.
know she smells great.
This is going to sound really, really. Shut up, Bill.
Bill knows. He knows.
What? We met her. We saw her.
They embraced.
I gave her a hug.
Yeah.
Like, I know
like Poundcake, I give her a big whiff.
I know my mom sent anywhere. Like,
How often do you change your socks?
I change my socks every day.
Every day.
Well-
Like, I change mine twice a day.
Well, who has time to do that? What?
I get home, I put on new socks.
But when you get home, you put on socks at home?
Yes.
I do too.
I don't put on socks at home.
I don't.
So-
My feet are too cold. I like socks at home.
If
I'm the
I-
only person in my house wearing socks.
If I work in a pair of socks, like the socks I have on right now, these are new for today. So if I work in these socks, like I'm not wearing them tomorrow.
You go home and take them off and walk around in your stinky feet.
Yeah, I have hardwood floors.
You ever
so
get
do
into
I.
like a session with somebody and you have your socks on and you're trying to get them off without ruining the
No,
flow?
I'm already bare.
I just ruined the flow.
I'm
I
already
was
bare.
like, I gotta
you
take my
pull it
socks
from the
off.
toe and they just keep
He's just
stretching and
he's
stretching.
like, come on, just trying to.
No, and
You
that's,
flick them into their head.
that's one of the reasons why I don't have spontaneous sex because I need.
Come on,
to-
Whoopsie, do your part. Pull my socks off.
No,
You give up and you just go at it in your socks.
And they're just like half hanging off. Just like floppy
Rose
socks.
floppy toe.
Oh, I got a break. I got money for you. 3:30. Another $1,000 from the Buzzard.